Strikes me as an awkward anime kid. Assuming he did not do well with women. He was certainly odd. I don't think anyone knew anyone who knew him would deny that, but it was in an endearing way, not a creepy, disaffected way. He had a great sense of humor, and girls liked him. I can't remember whether he was ever into anime. I don't think he was.
I heard you guys, someone say something about Tinder, but I did some research on that, and apparently it's a matchmaking website, and for those who don't know,
the crowd is groaning at the mention of Tinder.
If you don't know how to start a fire, just go to choose Tinder. There's this guy, here's some of my original comments.
Oh, you see, that's a double entendre. You don't know how to start a fire, just use Tinder. A little workshopping, that could have been something.
Good evening, I'm Maurice Dubois. John Dickerson is off tonight. In the many shootings with multiple victims this country has seen over the years, motive is often not clear. But in the deadly shooting yesterday at an ICE facility in Dallas, the FBI says the gunman left handwritten notes that provide clues. The Bureau says the gunman hated the federal government and wanted to terrorize and kill ICE agents. No agents were shot in the attack, but 3 immigrant detainees were. 1 died. The 2 others are in critical condition. Omar Villafranca is in Dallas once again tonight. Omar?
Investigators found a ladder they say the suspect used to get to the top of a building, and that's where they say that he used a legally purchased rifle and started shooting.
Yeah, he apparently had the ladder strapped to the top of his car as he drove down the road at 3 a.m.
And we're also learning chilling details on how he felt about ICE agents.
Jahns specifically intended to kill ICE agents. He fired at transport vehicles carrying ICE personnel, federal agents, and detainees.
The FBI says 29-year-old Joshua Jahns mapped out Wednesday morning's ambush on a Dallas ICE facility with a high degree of
Jahns, I'm sorry, I've totally been saying it wrong.
Dallas County DHS buildings to ballistics and apps that track the presence of ICE agents. Denise's Robleto was bringing her mother to a scheduled ICE appointment when she heard gunshots. Robleto says she didn't know if ICE agents were shooting or being shot at. Nancy Larson is the acting U.S. attorney for the Northern District of Texas.
He called the ICE employees people showing up to collect a dirty paycheck.
Oh, yeah?
That he intended to maximize lethality against ICE personnel.
Now, what she's not telling you is that this dude was an anti-government libertarian edgelord type. She's making it sound like he specifically was saying that ICE were accepting dirty money. But no, I think he would say that about any government official, according to what we know about him.
And to maximize property damage at the facility.
Investigators say they uncovered a trove of new evidence from electronic devices found in a search of homes in Texas and Oklahoma associated with the suspect. The FBI says the clearest motivation can be found in Jahns' own notes. FBI Special Agent in charge, Joseph Rothrock.
In his handwritten notes, he says, "I want to cause terror." He wants to impact ICE agents and law enforcement across the country.
At the ICE facility in Dallas, immigrants coming to the building for scheduled ICE check-ins told CBS News they were told the building is closed and to come back Monday. Todd Lyons is acting director of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement.
We won't be stopped by it. We're going to do our law enforcement mission, right? We're going to ensure that we're out there taking these public safety threats off the street.
DHS officials say that during the shooting, ICE agents actually managed to move a few of the detainees who were constrained in that van out of harm's way. We were also pressing DHS officials on what they plan to do to secure facilities like the one behind me. They didn't want to go into detail, but they said the plans are being discussed.
The deadly cyber attack on the Dallas ICE facility yesterday morning seems straightforward. With anti-ICE engraved on unused bullets recovered from the scene, per the FBI. But after interviewing several of the alleged shooter's former friends, the picture isn't so clear. I don't know. I think we're starting to see a pattern emerge of a new type of shooter. And it has become more and more prevalent over the last couple of years. Within minutes of the shooting, FBI Director Kash Patel posted on X, while the investigation is ongoing, an initial review of the evidence shows an ideological motive behind this attack. I still don't believe he put that on there. President Trump responded to the shooting by blaming the radical left, vowing to sign another executive order to dismantle what he called domestic terrorism networks. You know, DJ Dub, you might be correct that these are people that might have committed a school shooting, but maybe it's become harder and harder to carry out a school shooting, and they just get pushed later on down the line. But he was a little bit older, wasn't he? He was like 24, 25. I've been briefed on the deadly shooting. We don't need to read. Trump. On the off chance that the shooting wasn't what it looked like, I reach out to people who knew the 29-year-old Joshua Jahns, 3 who knew him since at least middle school, agreed to speak to me on the condition that I not name them, corroborating their friendship with photos and other records. One of them is on Twitter doing an AMA right now. I was looking over it. Their accounts paint the picture of someone with a vaguely libertarian bent who despised both major parties and politicians generally, including Trump, but who didn't engage with politics beyond that. He preferred edgy humor, video games, and the message board 4chan, all of which he became increasingly steeped in as he withdrew from social life, as well as their own friendships several years ago. That's it right there. There's your profile. Sky comment? No, he wasn't an incel. Let me pull up his friend's account, because he was asked if he was an incel. And I assume this is the person he purports to be because he tagged Ken Klippenstein. Ice Shooter's childhood friend. He tagged Ken and said that he was part of the Substack article. Here's the pictures. He was asked if Jahns was a furry. Apparently he wasn't a furry. This is just some sort of joke. So was he homeschooled Christian growing up? No, he was public school in Allen. Strikes me as an awkward anime kid. Assuming he did not do well with women. He was certainly odd. I don't think anyone knew anyone who knew him would deny that, but it was in an endearing way, not a creepy, disaffected way. He had a great sense of humor and girls liked him. I can't remember whether he was ever into anime. I don't think he was. So fascinating. Once again, like you have to be somewhat skeptical, but I'm assuming because he tagged Klippenstein, this is indeed who he purports to be. He says the last contact he had with him was 10 years ago at his 18th birthday party. We were aware of what furries are, but neither him nor I identified personally with the furry community. This is a silly beanie he probably ordered from Amazon. What kind of music was he into? Funny hipster shit. Circa Survive, Animal Collective, System of a Down. He was a big Eminem guy. He also showed me what Vaporwave and Macintosh Plus was in like 2014, before Roman Bust started appearing on shirts years later in Urban Outfitters. Dude was tapped in and had good taste. I'm dying to know what this one said. Did he ever express any opinions about ICE? No, not to me, no. I last hung out with him on his 18th birthday in 2014. So, completely different time period. But based on my general impressions of him, when I knew him, I imagine he was not a fan of ICE. Once again, that libertarian bent. None of his former friends believed that the anti-ICE inscription could possibly be sincere, feeling such a serious political statement was anathema to who Jahns was. His humor was deeply ironic, often offensive, and aggressive to the point of alienation. He was most certainly an edgelord, an irony guy, one friend said. Josh was an edgelord who wanted someone to get blamed. I think he tried his best to write something goofy to rile people up. Another friend showed me a Facebook post describing how Jahns had flooded his friends' comment sections with rape jokes. Playful shock humor, the friend said. Jahns' profile on the gaming platform Steam showed the vast amounts of time he spent playing video games, particularly shooters. More than 6,000 hours on Rust, 3,000 on Team Fortress 2, and 1,000 on Left 4 Dead 2. He even found time to play 3.5 hours in the past 2 weeks, the account shows. Among the dozen or so usernames he used was one reading impeachment. When I asked if this wasn't a clear reference to anti-Trump politics, his friends recoiled at the idea that he would express opposition to Trump so sincerely and straightforwardly. Instead, they saw it as part of his broader ironic persona, poking fun at anti-Trump resistance types. That said, one friend recalled that when Trump first came to power, Jahns was not a fan, though he had contempt for mainstream politicians in general. His friends say he had more of a libertarian bent, with one recalling an interest in the libertarian figure Ron Paul. Still, the friend who recounted Jahns' dislike of Trump insisted that there was at least a kernel of seriousness to the username. If it was ironic, it's that half irony where you're half kidding, half serious, just in case. He was never really into politics, especially not politicians. He was into politics only in the 4chan sense. Contrarian, provocative, boundary pushing for laughs, not conviction. 4chan, the anonymous message board, where provocation and irony are the coin of the realm, was apparently one of Jahns' favorite haunts. His abrasive humor is where friends' opinions on him diverge the most, with some describing it as amusing, but others as grating, especially as his online persona bled into real life. I mostly stopped talking to him when he took his 4chan irony stuff into daily interactions. He was becoming unbearable. Once he dropped out of college, he had no obligation to be social, and none of us reached out due to his edgelord behavior. He became increasingly isolated then. I wasn't able to find anyone with insight into Jahns' more recent views, something that his friends said was unsurprising given his withdrawal from social life over the past few years. If you're having trouble finding people besides immediate family who knew him, that's part of the story. Every mutual friend drifted away over that kind of edgelord behavior. The fledging version of Jahns' humor appears in the following YouTube video, since removed, from when he was a high schooler, a tongue-in-cheek parody of tech advice videos.
Hello there, Facebook user. Are you tired of scrolling through your Facebook feed mindlessly, not knowing what the heck to do with your life? Well, there's a solution to that. You can unlike all of your crappy pages. All you have to do to unlike your crappy pages that you realize you don't like anymore is to go to your profile, select more, go down to likes, and simply hover over each page you want to unlike, and there you go. You will be able to unlike all of your pages in a matter of minutes, maybe hours, possibly, depending on how much you've used this function of Facebook. Thank you, and I hope you like your day.
So was he a Tricky fan? I saw Tricky on his likes there. The following audio recording of Jahns bombing at stand-up comedy was shared with me. It drew a comparison by one friend to the 2019 Joker film, starring Joaquin Phoenix as an off-putting loner who also tried and failed at comedy. The film culminates in a scene in which the Joker gets his revenge on the entertainment world by gunning down the host of a popular late-night TV show. Did that actually happen in the movie? I thought he was dreaming that, but I don't know that I got it.
Hey guys, my second time doing stand-up. I was at the Dallas Comedy Club last time. Alright, so I'm going to start out with talking about something pretty serious. My buddy was talking to me the other day about reality TV, and he didn't like it too much. He said reality TV should never be played on TV. And I was all taken aback, like, whoa, dude, come on. I have some extremely bad insecurity issues about myself. They constantly eat me up alive. And reality TV is a remedy for that. That's a perfect remedy. And it applies to me. So instead of going down that old money road, I just go towards MTV. Cheers up my day. It's great. You guys should all watch MTV. I like Kim Kardashian and Girl Code and Guy Code. They're great advice shows. I heard you guys, someone say something about Tinder, but I did some research on that, and apparently it's a matchmaking website, and for those who don't know,
the crowd is groaning at the mention of Tinder.
If you don't know how to start a fire, just go to choose Tinder. There's this guy, here's some original comments.
Oh, you see, that's a double entendre. You don't know how to start a fire, just use Tinder. A little workshopping, that could have been something.
I made this out of my own brain. There's this guy named Derek, and he's an avid ghost hunter. His father recently passed away, and he wanted to see if his father's ghost is still around. So he got all of his friends together, his ghost hunting friends, and his ghost hunting equipment, and he turned them on, and he's like, Father, are you still here? If you're here, make a sound. And you hear nothing. And then he waits about 30 seconds, like cat in the door, swings flies open. And he starts laughing and says, oh, that's my late father for you. Has your girlfriend or wife or spouse ever said,
Yeah, you can get a good laugh if you bomb on a joke. I know this from personal experience. If you bomb on a joke and then you make a funny face at the audience, they'll laugh because of the awkwardness that nobody was laughing.
honey, I'm falling apart. And you can't help but say, I know, but I don't have any sewing equipment on hand. I just can't help you. It kind of seems like your problem. A guy walked into a really scary, spooky breakfast cafe in France. And he didn't expect much when he came in. But when he walked out, he said, man, that place really gave me the crepes. Some guy insisted that I listen to Nick.
It's been hard to make out what he's saying. Like, I didn't get that punchline, so I can't judge that one. If you're just joining us, this is the ICE shooter from yesterday. This is him doing stand-up comedy.
Nicki Minaj's new stuff. And he knew that I only liked classical jazz. And so I had to say, man, pop music isn't really my jazz, and you know that. So I knew a guy in the war, and he got his hand cut off, unfortunately, and he bled to death. And I'm trying to have some reverence here, but I can't help but think his heart was pumping in vain. Thank you, guys.
The audio from his attempted stand-up routine where he bombs now resonates uncannily with Joker, the friend said. Ironically, Jahns' contempt for Trump and the major political parties has bestowed them with one of the most intensely partisan news cycles in recent memory. In this sense, the joke is on him, and all of us too. Wow. Libertad coming in here, reworking one of my jokes in a British manner, have a wank whilst mumbling. Maybe one of us will get something out of it. I think your delivery's better. I like it. I might have to rework my joke. Flo, welcome in. Torchy. Did I miss anybody else? Anonymously. Let's light one up, tip one back. DJ Dub, you're right. 6,000 hours is a fucking lot. I can't tell you a game that I have anywhere close to 6,000 hours in. Like, I know I've played Gran Turismo a lot, and I'm at something like 200 hours. I think the game that I have the most hours in is Mortal Kombat, and it's something like 600 or 700 hours, and that's because I used to play it with my buddy. Like, I'd get off stream and I'd play Mortal Kombat with my buddy. It was more us just chit-chatting, you know? We might not even be, like, entering a match for a while. He was playing Left 4 Dead 2, Team Fortress 2, and Rust.
Like one hit and hit one back on one more click before we hit the set an alert when that shit goes live. Social fucking support and hit subscribe. Light one up and take a hit. He does no harm, but it takes no shit. He's the last one standing when the ship is sinking. Let's take another rip for JustinFREAKIN.
Light one up, tip one back. I'm JustinFREAKIN.
Not high enough for this shit.